All right. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Pastor Matt here. I'm glad that we're able to get together and to be able to just get ready for worship. And I started doing these in case you happen to be new with us or chiming in for the first time or for the first few times. I haven't explained this in a while, but I started doing this when we had those 14 weeks of not being able to get together to be able to worship together. And so when I started doing this, it just let people know we're going to be worshiping in about an hour together. We weren't able to have Sunday school or any of those other groups, and some were able to really dig in and dig these particular ramp ups, and so we're going to continue doing them, and it allows me not only to be able to connect with you right away, but it allows me to actually warm up my voice. So I'm very thankful that we're able to be here. And please let me know if you're able to hear me. I've been having some issues with my microphone, but we want to make sure that that we're able to get the message out well. So every so often I come across some things online that are just so good I have to share it with you. And I'll put the link of a more fuller treatment of this, but where it was talking about that, I came across this, that someone sitting alone in church is an emergency. And I thought, that's true. So one of the things that we tend to do, we tend to kind of structure things in such a way to where we think, well, if this person is on this particular team, then they're the only ones that really need to do that, and we kind of outsource our own type of ministry. And we do that with greeters as well, because if we have greeters, we have a connections team, and if these greeters are on that team, then the thing that can come across our mind is, well, that's their job to make sure that they are going and taking care of that. It's not my job, it's their job. Well, in reality, it's all of our jobs. Anytime that someone comes into a worship service, that is someone that God has brought there to connect with a group of people. Now, whether they come back or not, well, we would hope that they would, but that first time guest that comes, boy, that is a joyous thing to have happen. Especially if you've been working hard at inviting people and wanting people to come, and you've been actually engaging people all through the week, Monday through Saturday. So there was an article that I came across that had more of a treatment of this. It's an article that's on the Desiring God webpage by Rebecca McLaughlin, and she brings up three things, and I'll put a link to the article so you can read it on your own. But she says this: an alone person in our gatherings is an emergency. And she refers to John 13:34-35, that by this all people will know that you're my disciples, Jesus says, if you have love for one another. And we are one body. And we have to make sure that if there's other people that are coming in and wanting to be a part of the body, even just for that one worship service, then we make sure that we may have to extricate ourselves from a conversation that we are having, or some friends that we will see either during the week or next week or the week after or the week after. No, we want to go and make sure that we're connecting with that one who is already there. So if you see someone alone in a gathering, in one of your worship gatherings, go over and talk to them. You can talk to them about their family. You can talk to them about an occupation that they may have, maybe relatives that they may have. Just some meaningful conversation, that form, FORM. Use this as a way to be able to talk. One of the questions that I ask when someone visits our church is, hey, how'd you find us? How'd you find us? Because we have 28,000 people that pass our church every single day. And what can happen is, even as you're driving, you're so focused on where you have to go, you don't think about the things that are around you. So when someone shows up to church, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm curious how you found us. And usually they just drive by and felt like they needed to stop in, or someone invited them. That's really cool. Or they Googled us, and our name is Arapahoe Road Baptist Church. Now, if we were still doing Yellow Pages stuff, that would serve us well because we're close to the top with the A's. But an alone person, go up, engage them in conversation. Just let them know how thankful you are that they decided to come. The second thing that McLaughlin mentions is that friends can wait. The friends can wait. We have a job to do. And the job is not simply for us to get together with our friends and get caught up. But our friends can wait during the week. We may have this internal conversation that we have going on. Should I go over and talk to them? Well, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to make them feel weird. No, go over and talk to them. Risk that. Risk that. Because if you do, then you never know what may be going on in their lives that actually brought them here. We live in Denver, Colorado, which is the fourth most unchurched city in the United States. And if someone shows up to church, that's not a cultural thing. That's not a cultural thing that is an expectation of people. No, if they show up to church, whoa, something's happening. Something's going on. God's doing something in them. We need to make sure that we are connecting with them as best we can. And so your friends can wait. I know we love getting up with everybody. It's one of our favorite things of getting together at church. But our friends can wait for that. And one of the things that you can do with your friends as you're talking to them, if you see someone that's by themselves, or maybe someone that you know that they don't, or vice versa, then you say, hey, can you introduce me to them? Or let me introduce you to them. And you take them over and you begin to have that conversation. One of the things that I've started doing, I say started, I've been here about 10 years, but whenever when I'm talking to someone, I begin to talk to someone else, and I don't know if even in our church of 100 people right now, post-COVID, that they've ever interacted with each other. I'm like, hey, have you two met? And there have been enough times where they say, you know what, we've been going to this church all this time. No, I've never met you. My name is. Hey, good. Or most of the time it's like, well, of course we know each other. Hey, I'd rather make that mistake and have that little bit of egg on my face than to miss out on the opportunity to be able to connect that relationship together. So introduce newcomers to someone else. Again, I'll link this article in the bottom, but we all have a part to play. If we come to church, and the goal of coming to church is simply for us to get personally fed ourselves, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at everything through our own lens. Sometimes, well, all the time we need to be looking at things through the lens of what God has given to us in His Word. But sometimes we need to make sure that we're spending time looking at things from the lens of somebody else that may be brand new. And if you do that, then you begin to empathize with them and realize, oh, this is how they're feeling as they're coming in here. Boy, that must be tough. Well, maybe I can. And what is a thrill for me as a pastor, and I see this a lot, is when someone is by themselves, I see someone get up and sit with them so they're not alone. That's the way it should be. So when someone comes into church, listen, talk to them, greet them, let them know you're glad that they're here. And don't leave that just to the greeters. Your friends can wait. Introduce them to someone else if you happen to know who they are, and to make sure the more relationships that are developed, the better. That's what we got to be all about. We all got to lean into this. All of us have that responsibility. All right? God bless you guys. And this coming Sunday, I'm so used to talking during the week, just a few hours. We're going to be meeting at 10:31 Mountain Time. You can watch us online, but if you're able to come and you're in the area, I hope that you can. We're going to be talking out of Ephesians 6 verses 1-4 about gospel-centered families, and this is what God's called us to do, and He's called the church to come alongside and to be able to help and support and resource and care for these young families that do come into our church. Are we ready to do that? Do we have a passion and urgency to do that? May that be the case for us. Hey, God bless you guys. Good seeing you. Thanks for letting me take up some of your time. God bless you.